Welcome to this panel discussion on what's next in aftermarket services, brought to you by Tech Mahindra and Pega Systems. We really appreciate you taking the time to participate in this session today. My name is Padma Hariharan, and I'm a Partner Development Executive at Pega. Leading the panel today is Ali Pinder. Ali is the Program Director, Service Innovation and Connected Products at IDC. Joining Ali are some very respected speakers from the industry. We have Mike Suter, who's a Vice President for After Sales in Nissan North America. Joining him is Joe Corey, Senior Vice President of After Sales at Navistar. And then we have Steve Silver, who's VP Industry Market Leader Manufacturing, which covers automotive and high tech at Pega Systems. And Nilesh Auti from Tech Mahindra. He's the Digital Officer and Global Head of Manufacturing.
If I think back 10 to 15 years ago when I started kind of talking about some of these topics, it was all about cutting costs within the business. Now we all understand that the after sales and aftermarket is an opportunity to not only differentiate and drive value, but drive at revenue opportunities. And I think that should be core to the ways in which you think about your businesses. So what's up for the next 12 to 15 months? It's all digital, right? I think we all understand that our experiences have evolved from going into a store, going into a physical location all of the time, to think about ways in which we can have a digitally enhanced experience from a product, service, and experience perspective. How can we think about future-proofing our businesses for that next disruption, which is going to occur? And we'll spend kind of the next 10 minutes talking to the panel about what challenges are facing their businesses today. So Mike, if you can give me a brief view into your service world. And in the last 12 to 15 months, we've seen quite a bit of change and transformation. What have been some of the challenges you've seen within Nissan North America that has driven your desire to innovate and look at the after sales opportunity?
You talked about here kind of service value and what it means for us at Nissan, and then some of the challenges. So I'll start with the service value. I think as you pointed out in some of the slides, it really is a kind of a mindset. So for us, we treat that as a mindset. We start with our great dealer network. We have incredible dealers, around 2,000 of them in the region. And it's our job to provide them all the necessary support and systems. And you talked about siloed systems and fragmented data and so on. We need to do our part to provide them with the tools to operate their best, because the next step on or ladder, rung on the ladder here, I guess, is the customer. And so, we're very customer centric, personalization and so on at scale. And that's actually our goal, is to really have kind of a micro segmentation on a one-to-one type basis, and then hyper personalization, so that the messaging that you receive is deeply relevant to you and timely. And it helps our team really focus on customer satisfaction, fix right first time, and so on.
We have to adapt and find different ways to introduce technology into the after sales organization that can help us really become easier to do business with for our customers. That's a key element that our dealers, our customers tell us all the time, is we want a partner that's easy to do business with. And that's something that we're very focused on, and one of our challenges as an organization.
And the ability to bring the right process and the right outcome at the right time to these specific challenges, it makes it a reality, which then reinforces and builds confidence in the organization that these hills aren't too big to climb. And I would say with partners like Tech Mahindra and their ability to execute using tools like Pega, the reality doesn't become too difficult in the way it once was years ago when I was a part of the automotive world. And we saw so many things that we used to want to do, but the technology in those days wouldn't allow it. So the bottom line is the how is no longer too big of a hurdle, but it remains a question, is how you can use some of these modern tools to enable agility in ways that hasn't been done before.
When you think in terms of, hey, there is a great field engineer over there, and all these things it need to converge at his place so that he can do a good first time right. He can do a good lead time in terms of, he taking and doing the service. Now, what does it mean is the service, the product performance data, the engineering data, all of this need to come together to help him. And one of the key challenge today I see is that in our aftermarket channel, the data is hugely distributed. So there is a good part which the OEMs are holding. There is a good part The tier one companies are holding, there's a good part, the dealer is holding separately. Now, how this will converge and bring it together. And that's where I think, while the Pega is kind of laying the foundation and the platform, and then the engineering aspect coming on top of it.
Like you said, it's a moving target, it's moving quickly. And, at some point during this meeting, I hope we can talk about some of the data, because Nilesh brought up some really great points around, what are some of the challenges that we have with the amount of data, the frequency of it, the siloed nature of it, to actually innovate and drive service value.
I think when we think about the ownership experience, we're really, a few years ago, we started an initiative which we called Vision 2025, and it was really a set of dealers and a set of Navistar executives that got together and said, hey, what do we have to do to ensure that we can continue to grow and be profitable over the next several years? And the first thing that we agreed on was, whatever decisions we made, whatever directions we decided to take as a combined organization, as a partnership, we have to do it with putting the customer at the center of everything that we do, and work backwards from there. And if we can be successful as an OEM dealer partnership in providing our customers with the highest levels of uptime and total cost of ownership, then that will ensure that we keep those customers coming back to us and making us their number one choice as a transportation provider. So that's really where we focused our efforts. Now, how are we going to get value out of that? Beyond the obvious parts and service sales, we're putting a heavy bet on connected services and using our OnCommand Connect platform to help us to really provide value to our customers. We're thinking about how do we offer a portfolio of both products and services that can help them be successful. And what's next is going to be, the predictive and the prescriptive type of maintenance, trying to solve problems before they become a problem for our customers, selling more services, thinking differently about how we're connected with our customers. And what we mean by connected is not just connected devices like telematics devices, but how do we integrate across our supply chain so that our dealer systems, our systems, and our customer systems become integrated to the extent where we make it very easy for our customers to do business with us. Obviously, what's next includes what happens with electrification and what happens with autonomous and what happens to the parts business as a result of technologies changing. How do we use AI, and how do we use real in-depth analytics and incorporate that into our live diagnostics processes for our technicians, and use decision trees to really drive their actions on a real-time basis so that they're getting repairs done as quickly and efficiently as possible. How do we use it? We're piloting now with the HoloLens to say, how do we use augmented reality to help, diagnose and offer solutions for complex repairs for our technicians. All of those kind of things are things that we're thinking about, next.
I'm seeing, I think everybody sees this, is that, because of electrification and connectivity and advanced technologies in the cars, that our supply chain infrastructure is looking a lot less like automotive these days and a lot more like consumer electronics. So I'm not really sure what that means, but I think we'll have to at some point take a page out of the playbook of the consumer electronics companies and focus differently on each tier of the supply chain versus just kind of tier one. I think we need to get a little deeper into the supply chain tier 2 and 3. We also invested in 3D technology last year. So, we're printing more and more parts, and I really want to scale that up, to use one of Ali's terms. How do we find a way to scale up some of these activities to really drive performance? And, Joe talked about right part, right place, right time, take care of the customer. There's a lot of emphasis around the supply chain. it's not what the customer wants today, because it's too late now to build an innovative solution for today's needs. I think we need to look at where they're going tomorrow. And then, as we've talked about today, how do we wrap technologies around this and eliminate some of the friction points, because there's always going to be friction points, especially with new technologies and so on.
So our mission at Pega is to help clients like Nissan and Navistar crush complexity. Complexity is the biggest deterrent to transformation and the improvements in customer experience, dealer experience, and all the aspirations and priorities that Joe and Mike articulated. What you need is a few things. One is, I think you need an architectural approach that allows you to turn insights into action, not just in the individual channels or touch points. On the other extreme are all of those systems of record. And there's so many of them, both that live inside the four walls of our clients, and then the partner data environments. And so what's needed is an architectural approach that operates from the center out, where you can use technology like Pega as an agility layer to automate sort of and connect those disparate processes and then change them on a dime with clicks, not code, to basically execute on these kinds of processes. And then lastly, and I think very importantly, that whether it's the decisions around the way a process should learn and adjust based on maybe quality signals or maybe customer signals around take rates or usage of products and the like, and then use that context to adjust the execution of a process or the execution of the personalization that needs to take place in these interactions. And you have platforms like Pega that, again, make that easier now than ever before.
That brings us to the end of our session today. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today, and hope you all found this session as interesting as I did. Feel free to reach out to your Pega or Tech Mahindra contact, and we'll be more than happy to have a follow-up discussion with you and help you with any needs that you have in this space. Thank you all very much.